It came from. It came from.
Let's switch gears and get into this next part of the show called It Came From. This is the part of the show where we search all over the internet to bring you topics that the human factors community is talking about. Anything is fair game. So we got a couple this week. We got one from Discord and we got a couple from Reddit. So let's go ahead and jump into the Discord first. This one comes again from He Who Shall Not Be Named, Voldemort. It's pretty active over there. He writes, salaries for human factors jobs seem to be all over the place. Some colleges have their human factors in the psych department and some in engineering department. Would an engineering-focused major lead to a higher average salary, or does it just depend on where you work? Blake, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I can only really speculate because I have a psych background, but I do have a couple of friends who got their HF degree through an industrial engineering department, and I can kind of take a guess at where they started versus where I did. I definitely think it depends on where you're going. So if you're trying to get like a UX research job, you will probably run into a gamut of salary ranges. Now, if you have an engineering background and you pitch that, you could potentially have a little bit more ground, right? Especially if you had any experience working with other engineers and applying human factors in that capacity. So bringing human factors to the table. I do know that in terms of attractiveness, right? Like some people were able to get, jobs at bigger companies with an engineering background, in my experience, from people that I know immediately with little experience, versus like other friends of mine who took the psych route like I did. They've kind of had to get experience, show what they could do, and learn a lot of skills on the job, and then were able to kind of move to wherever they wanted to. Again, I think it really just depends on where you're applying, like where that's going to be. Because I really don't know if I've seen too many times with a human factors job post, an HCI job post, or a UXR job post. Like, okay, I'm looking specifically for a PhD with an engineering background in human factors. I've just seen, I want this type of degree. That's going to give you a level up. But other than that, in terms of if you had an engineering side or engineering start or a psych start, there's not a whole lot of difference in terms there. But Nick, what's your experience in this realm, or what do you think?
Also psych background here. I think my guess here is, and I even said this in the chat, it depends.mp3. I think the main difference between the two is going to be starter salary. I think the type of job that you are open to or that you are able to get into straight out of school is going to be it's going to be different based on which experience you have. With an engineering degree, I feel like you probably have access to higher tier or higher salary jobs right out of the market, where a psych background may not have that. And because of that, I feel like over time, you're more likely to, as you jump from career to career or go advancements in your position, get higher up at a company, your starter salary is kind of the anchor for that. And so I would probably trend overall engineering probably higher, just based on that one fact alone, is that you anchor higher right out of school. I wouldn't say, that should discourage anybody from going the psych route. I think it does depend on the type of industry that you're in. And again, I don't want to discourage anyone from going the psych route. Blake and I both went the psych route and we're doing fine, except my wife is going to kill me because I've spent so much on a podcast. But, that's aside, but aside from that, we're doing fine. I think there's one other community comment here that I do want to bring in. This is from Barilla, also in our Discord. They say, in my experience, in engineering plus human factors leads to a higher salary, at least in the defense industry. Outside, you may be able to gain some more traction with the side of UX. So again, it just kind of depends on which industry you're going into and kind of what on-the-job training you get if you are from a psych background, and sort of what you make of your engineering degree if you come from that background too. So it just depends. And it's not a great answer, but it's a good question that I know a lot of people have. So we wanted to make sure we talked about it on the show. Any other closing thoughts with that one there, Blake?
No, I mean, I think for those that may be on the fence about which one makes the most sense, I definitely agree. I think engineering may give you the starter salary that you're looking for if that's like a real thing to be paying attention to when you start. But I think in terms of which one makes more sense to do, I would just look at the programming content for whatever degree and see which ones align with your interest more. Because you may find that the engineering stuff just really excites you. Or you may find that there's like psych sides and like the data analysis part there that focuses heavy on quantitative, may be really interesting as well. So I think I would weigh all that stuff kind of in the balance.
Yeah, I think one more comment on this. I think they give you different skill sets. Engineering gives you a skill set of how to approach a problem from a practical perspective. It also gives you skill with writing very objective things like requirements. And so that can really help out. I think psychology gives you a more loose toolkit of being flexible with how to approach a problem. And these are broad generalizations here. I'm not trying to say all programs are like this, but at least I know they kind of approach problems in a different way and they complement each other very well, which is why human factors is kind of the perfect confluence of both, kind of industries.